Good morning. Welcome to 49ers in 5, your daily update on everything happening with the team that you need to know. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. Today is Tuesday, November 21st, 2023. Here's what's happening with your San Francisco 49ers. We'll get to Kyle Shanahan's conference call in a minute, but we always start every show with the injury report. And unfortunately, some major news on Monday. An MRI confirmed Talanoa Hufanga did tear his ACL against the Buccaneers. He is out for the rest of the regular season. The good news, if you want to call it that, is that Kyle Shanahan did say there were no other issues in the knee. No other ligaments were torn or damaged. So that's very good news. The hope is that Hufanga will be ready to go by week 1 next year. But obviously, we have a long time to sort that out. Devastating news for Hufanga right before the holidays also. But next man up mentality, we all know that. That means Ji'Ayir Brown is going to get an opportunity to play. And on the conference call, Kyle Shanahan sounded very confident that Brown could step in and fill Hufanga's shoes.
The way he's been practicing here every week, he's been practicing like he knew this moment was coming. He's been locked in. It's extremely impressive for a rookie, and I think that's why he was ready for his moment last night and made some big plays that helped us win. So excited for him for his opportunity, but really bummed about Huff.
A lot of people were very high on Ji'Ayir Brown after he was drafted. Now, of course, we'll get the opportunity to see who was right and who was wrong. Hopefully, Sunday was a good sign of things to come. More from Kyle Shanahan's conference call now. We've seen 2 games with Chase Young, Kyle. How has he helped the defense since he's been here?
Chase is a real good rusher, and he's really physical versus the run. So just adding to the collective unit, which has been huge for us. We try to have strength in numbers with our D-line. We try to keep them fresh. We try to keep them going. So it's not just having to depend on 1 or 2 guys to make O-linemen miss to get sacks. It's creating edges on people, making the quarterback move, making the quarterback watch the rush. And when you have more guys out there, it's really what makes it go. And adding Chase has been a huge one for a unit, and that helps everyone else. And then he individually is good enough to make the plays too, which he's gotten those ops and he's come through with them.
The entire defensive line has been incredible since Chase Young came aboard. They had 38 pressures against the Jaguars on Sunday, including a whopping 12 from Eric Armstead. This is much, much closer to the defensive line we thought we were going to see when the season began, and it's obviously something we hope continues as the Niners enter their biggest 3-game stretch of the season. In that vein, Kyle Shanahan was asked about the Seahawks, who may be at significantly less than 100% coming into this game on Thursday. He was not taking the cheese.
I don't care what the situation, who's playing, what the teams are like. You go up to Seattle, it's as hard as it gets. And it's one of the toughest places to play in the NFL, if not the toughest. They have a certain style there and the way they play that is harder to deal with on the road because of how loud it is and the snap count disadvantage. So it's always tough to go there. And I also know, just starting with them today, how many good players they have, how well they're coached, and how big of a challenge it'll be this Thursday.
A win on Thanksgiving will go a long way to wrapping up the NFC West for the 49ers, but you know it is not going to be easy in that stadium. We always give you one thing to read, one thing to watch, and one thing you might have missed. One thing to read on this Tuesday, Dan Graziano of ESPN.com has a column up asking a simple question. Have the 49ers already locked up the NFC West? If you want to find out the answer, click the link in the description of this episode. One thing to watch, everybody for the 49ers is talking today. They've jammed all the media sessions into one day because of the short week. So that means you get Kyle Shanahan at 1:30 p.m. Pacific, Brock Purdy after that, and defensive coordinator Steve Wilks at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. So there's going to be a little bit of news coming out of 49ers headquarters later today. One thing you may have missed, Brock Purdy is really good this season. But how good? Well, Nick Wagner of ESPN tweeted out some great stats. Purdy is averaging 9.7 yards per attempt. That's ridiculously high. Number 1 in the NFL by a wide margin. Next closest is more than a yard less, 8.5. In fact, Purdy is the second highest average through 10 games in NFL history among quarterbacks with 250 attempts. The others, Boomer Esiason in 1988, Dan Marino in 1984, and Aaron Rodgers in 2011. What do those guys have in common? That's right. They all won the MVP award. Don't let anybody tell you Brock Purdy is not crushing it right now. He is, and he should be right in the middle of the MVP conversation. That's a wrap on today's 49ers in 5. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast Network. Enjoy your Tuesday, everybody. Stay tuned for the Bully Ball Podcast with Jason Aponte and Steph Sanchez. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. We'll talk later today.